buddy Martin, he's Rob Dotson, he's Rob One, and we've got a special show for you today, including a longtime family friend from Fort St. Joe, where my wife lived for many, many years. I've not been there yet. I bet you've been there, though, Rob, haven't you?
Oh yeah, my wife's from there, so yep,
Yeah,
be there
yeah,
this Saturday.
yeah, Monica. So, all right, so it's going to be a special show tonight, and we're going to talk a little about the new schedule. I don't know how much you've had a chance to look at it. Rob will talk about it later, but it looks anything has got to be easier than what we had. Let me just tell folks who are tuning in the first time here to see what this show is about. We're kind of new. We're like, what is this, our 7th or 8th program?
Yes.
Panhandle Gator Club. We want you to tell your friends and neighbors we're on every other Friday. This is the other Friday, so this morning we're on. And we do talk about things in the Panhandle. We welcome and ask and beg you to log on here and comment and give us, there's the Panhandle Gator Club you need to know about, right? What Rob's going to talk about it. So once you tell your friends and neighbors we're on, we're talking about things in the Panhandle and other places. And by the way, Rob Browne, who will be on later, been coming down here since Abe Lincoln was president. He's been visiting. He knows 38 like the back of his hand. And he's always got a little tidbit or two. And usually Rob Dotson has a little crumb for us about the Panhandle. I'm in year 2 now. I'm in year 2. I should be learning. I want to learn more about the Panhandle. What I've learned is some great people, passionate about their football from a lot of different corners, Rob, including a school out west, including, of course, the Florida Gators that we represent here because the Panhandle Gator Club is the sponsor, but kind enough to invite you all to come in, no matter what your school is. A little bit of Alabama, a little bit of Auburn. It's been a crazy year, crazy stuff going on. Can't believe it. This is like the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Remember, it was Capone days, except times 100. I counted 15 coaches last night, Rob, who have been let go, whatever. And now we got one more still just yesterday, 2 days ago at Michigan. That's going to cause the cookies to crumble, the domino effect. Who knows what will happen there if they hire Alabama's coach, DeBoer.
We'll see if they make a good fight for him.
Crazy. Some good news out of Gainesville, I think, is Gator fans have been waiting for this. The Coach Summerall announced Buster Faulkner as the offensive coordinator. By the way, the offensive coordinator of the year. I'd say it's a pretty good hire. And he, of course, if you saw his offense at Tech, really impressive. The raving about that, of course, the new defensive coordinator was hired a couple of days ago. So stuff happening there. And continually on is Phil Troutmine, the former Gator, who now has been at Penn State 6 years, played in Gainesville, obviously. He's on the list, the hot list for offensive line coach. Many changes about as Coach Summerall goes about coaching 2 teams. I had to get my schedule straight because I looked at my schedule. I thought tonight was the night that Tulane played with us next week. So just getting your dates and times and teams and coaches, it's a job, Rob.
Well, it's just always confusing. And just this morning, I'm seeing where Russ Callaway, Florida's coach, is being targeted by Tulane as offensive coordinator.
Yeah. He was a so-called pseudo offensive coordinator.
Right.
I thought it was very interesting what happened. James Madison, all of a sudden, coach is getting the offensive coordinator, James Madison. He didn't get one in Gainesville. So stuff does happen there. So why don't you go ahead and tell the friends about our good friends and our sponsors, title sponsors, who've been so kind to host us, and of course, good folks, big Gator fans, and we'll talk more about that. But tell them where they can go to get social at Rocket Lanes.
That is right. Come get social with Rocket Lanes. Bring your family and enjoy a day of bowling, skating in their 8,000 square foot roller rink, or geek out in their 16,000 square foot mega arcade. And while the kids play, adults can enjoy a cold beverage back in their upscale sports bar and grab a bite to eat in the deli grill. Select from their new fall football menu, which is going on now. But Rocket Lanes is the host of the Panhandle Gator Club. That's what we have a lot of activities at our meetings. So join fellow Gators and friends at a Gator game watch party. We do basketball, football. It doesn't matter. We watch it all. So come get social at Rocket Lanes. 513 North Richard Jackson Boulevard, Panama City Beach, in the shops at Edgewater, across from Edgewater Beach Resort.
When they're done that, of course, as Rob says, bring your family, enjoy a day of bowling, roller skating, play arcade games. Just be careful, get a map when you leave and go, because it's a big place. I'll tell you, Rob, I got lost. Actually got lost in the building. Terrific people, great place. Rocket Lanes, thanks for sponsoring us. Rob, while we're there, before we go to our first guest, excited about Jim Norton having him on, because he's got a lot of family ties here. And, of course, he's well known in the community. And he's been around for a while. Look forward. He's a big Gator fan. We have something in common about Florida baseball. I'll tell you about it too. Rob, remind us of the special book sale we got going on of that book, The Golden Season. I talked to Freddie Weeby from up in Gainesville at Spurrier's Grand Grill. He told me they're flying off the shelves there. If you want to go get them online, you can still go there right now. Go to Spurrier's, and it's no apostrophe, Spurrier's.com. Look under their shopping and order the book right there and have it shipped in time for your for your Christmas gifts, or you can knock out some Christmas gifts in a hurry. And by the way, condolences to Vance Beard, the author, whose mom died early this week, and we're thinking about Clarita and also about France during this difficult time. So tell us about the thing we got planned coming up here, Rob.
Well, the Panhandle Gator Club is excited for the Panhandle area. We have a special book sale and signing of the Golden Season on December 18th. More information can be found on our website or Facebook. Just look for Panhandle Gator Club. But it's the only signing in the Panhandle area. So it makes a great Christmas gift. You get the book for the same price, but you get it signed and no postage, no shipping along. So for more information, check us out, Panhandle Gator Club.
Yeah, we got little books. You picked up yours here the other day at the house, and there's the information. Thank you for the good job by Brendan Martin being on top of it. So we're going to bring up Jim Norton in just a minute, and tell Monica to give me a list of all the dirt she's got on him. Okay,
No,
make sure you get the dirt, all the dirt list. I'm going to leave it all there, and if he messes around, we'll get the sheriff to arrest him. Oh, wait a minute, that's his good friend and neighbor. He and Tommy grew up together in Port St. Joe, across the street. A lot of great stories. Great guy, Jim. Looking forward to it. Well, there he is right there. There he is right there. He's already on. Look. Good morning, Jim. I don't have your audio on. We don't have your audio. Click that thing again.
Hey, buddy. Good morning.
Hey, there he is. Hey. How are you, Jim? Good to talk to you, my brother. We had a great visit last night, and looking forward to getting to know you better. We have a lot of things in common, not the least of which is you've been friends with the family, my wife's family, for a long, long time. And we'll get into those stories, war stories of you and Tommy, how you got in trouble and tore up the neighborhood. And he became a sheriff, and he went into the education business. So good morning to you. Looking forward to chatting with you. Say good morning to Rob Dotson.
Well, we all have a common denominator. The women in our lives all have a connection to Port St. Joe.
Yeah.
I drug mine here from Valdosta, Georgia, though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Matter of fact, there's awful good connections. I have a lot of Georgia connections. My mother was born and raised in Tifton. Don's mother was born and raised in Moultrie. Or those South Georgia peaches are special people, and they're great folks. So talk to me a little bit about you. You're the consummate Gator fan. You love your Gators, and you've been going there for a long time. And tell me what you know about the new schedule. Have you seen it? Have you talk about it? And talk about this team and the new coach.
Well, if you're calling on me, my dad was from Weewillitchka, Florida. My mother was from Nashville, Tennessee. They met on a blind date when my dad and your stepson's father, now long deceased,
Tom.
They were both. Tom was a great man, and you are too. But they were living together, and my mother was teaching at Tyndall Air Force Base, and they were set up on a blind date. And I think 3 weeks later they were married, and maybe that was the way it worked. I think they went to Donaldsonville, Georgia, and got eloped. I'm the middle of three boys. We grew up. There were 6 houses on St. Joseph Drive. And I'm just giving a little backstory. I know you asked
Yeah.
me about Florida's new coaching schedule, but I want to just say,
It's all right. Go ahead.
your stepson, along with Rob's wife, Monica, Port St. Joe is a real small place. We all grew up here. We went to places like the Stack House and 16th Street Golf Course, and the St. Joseph Country Club swimming pool was our cesspool. We all in St. Joseph Bay, but we had a wonderful life. And my mother went to Vanderbilt, graduated there. She was from up there. My dad went to Florida, and after about his third year on the baseball team, his biggest fear was he was going straight to Korea, but he ended up going to Occupation Germany. He was drafted. He said the difference in a C and a B was going straight into the military, and they didn't care if you had just lettered for the Florida Gators in 1957. Incidentally, the year you started as a Florida Gator.
Yeah, I started in 56. You're right. I was on the squad with him, didn't even know it.
So I ended up going the middle of three boys. I went to Troy, had a George Wallace leadership scholarship, and always intended to go to Florida, but you get some credits under your belt. It's like your stepson, Tommy, who is now sheriff of Bay County.
And a wildly popular sheriff,
popular. And
I'm telling you,
I think
man.
Correct. And my brother Joe is a circuit judge over in Baldwin County, Fairhope, Alabama. I guess our dads all worked for the paper company here, the old St. Joe Paper Company.
Yeah.
We didn't have a business to pass along, and unless you went to law school, and we did do that. My older brother Bill's a retired colonel, but all of our friends didn't really have businesses, but we had parents in a community that supported us and pushed us. And for me, I came back here from Troy. I'm hoping that the new Florida Gators coach hire, Coach John Summerall, who was at Troy for 2 years and wildly popular himself, I'm hoping that is going to further validate my degree from Troy University and make for happy and prosperous times ahead for our Florida Gators.
You know what, Jim? We have what they call 6 degrees of separation, so much like going up in Ocala. And a couple of things. Number one, I was at Florida and I played as a freshman and a letter. They didn't have that freshman letters in. And the following year was 57. That's when your dad played. And I don't remember. I played for about 12 games and was flunking a subject and said I better drop out. And I did. You showed me a picture last night of your dad and his friend. There it is. And I thought, my gosh, those are uniforms we wore. I wish I had a picture like that. Yeah, so I played for Dave Fuller. And my sophomore year, Rob, we had 15 pitchers on the squad. And I was number 15. And I could see the handwriting on the wall. And I thought, well, I better go keep from flunking physical sciences. And I quit the squad and went back to school. But on the matter of, going up there, and I, too, was drafted. I was drafted and reported to physical because I was in school. You had to take full load. I wasn't taking it. They hauled me off Jacksonville, said, we'll get back in touch with you, and found out that my wife was pregnant. And in those days, they didn't take expectant fathers. So I dodged the draft, so to speak, there. Didn't have to go to Germany like you did. And was blessed enough to have a young woman named Dawn Ford. Prior to that, we were her name was Dawn Browne then, and we were dating when I was home from college, and 60 years later met back up, and the rest of that story is a movie. It's a Hallmark movie, but it's wonderful, and all my best to my wife today. Under the weather just a little bit. So Jim, talk to me about the Gator thing, and talk to me about Summerall. I know a lot of fans, and Rob, jump in there. A lot of fans are really excited about this. The schedule's out. It doesn't look any worse for wear. It looks like it might be a tad easier, but it all depends on the team. We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. Rob, you chime in. Jim, are you more optimistic now than before?
Hey, buddy, I'm like a lot of Gators up here in the Panhandle. We follow your show, and I can tell you this. I wanted Lane Kiffin to be the Gator coach for the last handful of years, throughout the last hire. I think we all did. And I think the reason we did, I think the visor goes a long ways, and no different than Nick Saban kind of displaced the spell of Bear Bryant at Alabama. I think that we thought Lane Kiffin could do that with Spurrier at Florida, and kind of bring us in that second generation, what Urban and Spurrier did. I think what happened with the hiring of John Summerall, and I think I speak for some fans that know more than me and more than others, but those friends of mine that have a Troy connection will tell you to a man that we got it right with this hire. And I think his personality is going to be more of a fit. He is dedicated. He's passionate about it. I think that, sometimes I think the Napiers were very nice people. And I had within, 2 degrees separation. From friends that mutually knew them as well. And you just, you hate it for nice people. I think that you got it right. But I think that we're going to get that second component, or the flip side of the coin, right, with Summerall. And I hope we do. And just everybody that knew him from Troy just talks about the dedication, the passion. And I do think it was as simple as, he's going to be capable of opening up that offense at Florida that so many of us won't. And who knows, maybe he'll adopt a visor too.
Speaking of Troy, another 6 degrees of separation here, which is amazing, is that I played at Ocala High School, and my mentor, the guy that taught me how to play the game, much older, he went to Marion Institute, and connection there. And my mentor, my friend, got a hold of the coach at Troy and offered me a preferred walk-on as a quarterback. I wanted so bad to go try out, but the 2 buddies I was going to go with, they didn't want to go. We didn't have the gas money to go up there to see. But Troy was the only school offered me, so they had to be a great school. Offered me a walk-on there for sure. So many connections there, by the way, Rob, in this area with schools around the area. Now I know as much as you do follow the Gators. You're a politician, and by the way, a really successful. Have you won 5 terms?
Governor Scott, I was fortunate. There was about a 15-month vacancy. Governor Scott appointed me. I think the hardest campaign I ever had to run was getting the governor to appoint me. I was a trust banker and with a lawyer background, but I was a trust banker. And kind of coming out of the Great Recession, I think a lot of folks were burned out with constantly going through audits and things like that. But I managed to get the appointment, and I had to run, just over a year later, and I think everybody in the county ran against me, and I narrowly escaped. 52-48 is a landslide if you're on the 52 part. But the folks that ran against me, they were friends, and they are good friends, and everybody figures with the newness of things, they could bring things to the table. That's been 14 years ago. And I haven't had an opponent since, and I don't want to jinx myself in my next election about 3 years from now, and I, God willing, will be alive. But, I had personally my first kid at 46 and my last kid in life at 47, 2 boys, a year and 18 days apart. And, I even have more. I thought I always had a foot in the ground with this, but I truly do own and enjoy, if not love, what I do. These last 2 or 3 years, we've had 3 student athletes, underclassmen that passed away. And some watching this podcast may recall last football season, we actually had our star running back. His name is Chance Gaynor. His mother is a school board member, but Chance was an exceptional human being, young man. But Chance literally just minutes before halftime collapsed up in Liberty County, right on the 50-yard line where, 45 minutes before the coin toss had taken place. And he expired. He died right there.
Oh my gosh.
His heart gave out. And I just, I can tell you that does those type things. And I know for people that have been in combat, they talk about things, but when you stand holding parents, as we stand over a young man that's dead in the middle of a football field, and you go through all of that, it doesn't end that night or the next day. It goes on, and we still do things, and we honor. And with his parents, Gal and JJ Gaynor and his family, they've been exceptional. And with that, the Second Chance Act was recently passed by the Florida legislature. At this time, it's kind of a volunteer part for schools to take part. Well, we've already identified 3 kids through our screenings of their athletic physicals, one of which had something that would have taken their lives, their life, and they've had the surgery to correct it. So, and I'm sure other schools around Florida, but Florida's the first state to adopt this what we now call the Second Chance Act. But
Good story.
but being a school superintendent, you never know. Like Forrest Gump said, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what's going to come out.
My thoughts and prayers to the family. That's an unbelievable story. All right, so now in the remaining time we have here, we only got about 5 to 4 minutes. I want to get into 2 things. One, I want you to tell me the real story of Tommy, okay? Tommy Ford. You grew up with him. His mother ruled the house with a green brush. That's the reason he's such a strict disciplinarian, because Don took that green brush to he and Tyler, and they still fear it. And if we ever get martial law in this county, it will be over the green brush rule.
I'm going to be the first, and Rob will be the second, and you'll be the third. Yours might be a little bit bigger, buddy. But when Tommy runs for re-election, I dare say he probably won't draw an opponent either. But if he does, we've got our checkbooks ready. Tommy Ford, Sheriff Tommy Ford, I really, honest to God, I don't kid him, but I say, Tommy, I really thought that you would probably end up as one of the 12 deputy directors at the FBI. Tommy is an exceptional man, and he was brought on board from FTLE when he left Port St. Joe after going to West Florida himself by prior Sheriff Frank McKeithen, who actually was our sheriff here in Gulf County before the governor tapped him to fill a vacancy over there. And Sheriff McKeithen handpicked Tommy as his replacement. And I dare say when Tommy does retire one day, he's probably got it determined who he'll put there in that role. And that just tells you a lot about the Panhandle. And you know, Tommy and I grew up again on St. Joseph Drive. He was 101, we were 103. Our houses faced one another, and we grew up in a special time, the 70s and the 80s here in Port St. Joe. It was a mill town, as Rob can tell you. His wife's heard many stories from his wife, but the old St. Joe Paper Company, there's a reason I-10 is up in Mariana, about 77 miles north. Mr. Ed Ball, that really ran a lot of the state of Florida.
Jacksonville particularly.
Until he died at the age of 93, he wasn't going to have I-10 run through the middle of his pine trees, and that was pretty much the northern boundary. Tom Ford, I get to say your husband-in-law, you're both great men, and I know Tommy's proud to have you there in your life and his life, but they worked for Mr. Ball, Mr. Beelan, and Mr. Nedley, and all those good folks there. And I said, if George Lucas needed central casting for Star Wars, he probably could have based it on the old St. Joe Paper Company hierarchy. And that'll be another conversation we'll have off the record. But it was wonderful growing up here in Port St. Joe. Tommy and I and my brothers and Charles Costin and even former Florida Gator, who's now deceased, Ray Lawrence, was a center there back in the 70s. Ray back under the Doug Dickey days. And we shot millions. I guarantee it had to go into the hundreds of thousands of bottle rockets at each other's doors. And I can remember little fires starting in the flower beds that were often made of pine straw. And, you know, how we didn't burn something down, I don't know. But you know, it was just a wonderful place growing up here, and we have been discovered. And St. Joe Paper Company doesn't exist anymore. I know there's St. Joe Company, and they're more into the land development. And Rob, I know that somebody told me yesterday, I think the Margaritaville out there at Panama City Beach will build out at around 100,000 plus homes over the next 20 years.
And one of them will be Rob. He's going to move out there.
So, you know, it's just a great spot here. And, you know, you talk about Gulf County, and I know I'm wearing a Port St. Joe shirt, the Port St. Joe Tiger Sharks. And, buddy, I think this is what I would say to you about all of Northwest Florida, especially, you know, draw a 50, 75-mile circle around where we are. There are still traditional community-based district schools that exist, whether it's Port St. Joe or Weewah-Hitchcock High School, for which I'm the superintendent from. Incidentally, from Weewah High School back in the day, you may remember Hank Risch. Hank's no longer with us anymore, but his brother Ralph is very successful here and good close friend. But Hank was the assistant. He played football at Florida, became the assistant equipment manager under Bud Fernandez.
Good, great guy, great one. Yeah.
And then I think Hank took over all the spring sports, and Bud stayed with football. But just our area is always dedicated to the Florida program, and the reason I'm a Gator to this day, and I think it's like your stepson Tommy is probably a Seminole, but he's really a Tulane fan.
Now, what happened to him? He was once a Gator fan. He went awry. You guys, we're trying to bring you back in. Tyler and I
think he will become a Gator fan. His dad
wants to be a Gator fan.
His dad actually played football at Tulane.
Tulane, I know. That's okay. I understand
that. C-130 pilot, and came back to the paper company days. But I think Tommy will, with the connection of going back to Coach Summerall. I think Tommy will probably gravitate. But Tommy is no different than my brother and my younger brother and I. So many of us went to Division II schools. Yeah. We graduated. Thank the Lord. We graduated. Yeah. And so we could always pick and choose. And, I never will forget going to those first couple of SEC championship games. And I told you yesterday, I think my favorite Gator of all time, I know you didn't ask me, but my favorite Gator of all time is your weekly colleague, and that's Shane Matthews. Yeah. I was there those cold, rainy nights in Birmingham. Yeah. When he got cheated out of the first game, and
that was a tough one,
and won the second game, but he just, he typified a Spurrier team. And what does it mean to be a Gator? I was down at Howard's Creek, and I was a little boy, so whatever year it was, Buck Ballou to Lindsey Scott.
Don't bring that up. Please don't bring that up.
Well, I was going to say that's the first time I ever heard in my life my daddy use the F word. And he had fixed victory drink, and he said it's been 40 years. He took one sip, and that was the first time and one of the few times I think I ever saw a tear produced in his eye.
Oh, my goodness. So, we got about 2 minutes to go here. We're going to run, but what a great case to have you on. And, Rob, once you jump in there, both give me a nugget. Now, I'm counting on you, Jim, and Rob, to take me down to Port St. Joe and introduce me to Gulf County, because I've never been. But I want you to tell me, Rob, your favorite spot down there. I know we talked about Mexico Beach and all that sort of stuff. Rob, and then I want you to tell me, Jim, tell me what you think about if you're taking me to one place, what would it be? Start with you, Rob. If you're taking me one place.
Hey, Rob, I'm going to prompt you here. We own the little house next door to the Haughty Heron Bar.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, St. Joe has changed in the last 4 years quite a bit. I mean, it was I call it a quaint little fishing town, and now it's more of a very nice, I hate to call it a tourist town, but it's become more touristy. And along with that has come with a lot of really nice restaurants. I mean, I would drive from Panama City down to Port St. Joe to go eat at some of these restaurants, and we will. So probably
give me one. Give me one. Give me a name one.
The one that Monica likes the best, I think, is Peppers. I think the name of it is.
All right, Jim.
Well, and my kids, Peppers is a wonderful spot, and we sponsor it 4 days out of a 7-day week. It's just a melting pot. They're nice. They're great to the families here, the locals. And as Rod was alluding to, we do have a lot of great restaurants. We've got the high-end White Marlin. We've got the Keepers restaurant down near the – really what Rod was trying to say was over the last half of a decade, Port St. Joe, and as small as it is, it's only population 3,500 people that live in the city limits. So that's why we all really still know each other. But it really is, the downtown area is kind of the historic downtown, the Marina District, and kind of another little area that's kind of shaping up down where the White Marlin is. And they're all within walking distance of each other. But I would dare say if you come down here, we'll probably go out to Hunts on St. Joseph Bay, which is the sister property to what Greg Abrams and Adam and Austin and Collins are doing right there in Panama City. They do it better down here in St. Joe. And not only do they prepare the best seafood, they catch it as well there, Greg Abrams, Tarpon Docks. And he's a Seminole, but you might lure him to being one of your sponsors one day as well.
We could use some of those. And by the way, outside your door right now, there's a truck. I want you to go outside and pick up your 50 copies of this book, which is out now. And Rob, tell them about what you got coming up here with Franz Beard. This is a terrific It's a terrific book, but basketball just hot off the presses, and the Panhandle Gator Club is selling them. And as many copies as you want, you let us know, Jim, and we'll get them over to you at a special price.
I've already committed to the first 4, but you've got to autograph them.
We got that handled. We might even get Shane, shove it back to Ocala, get Shane to sign a few here as well. So listen, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being on the program. And it's great to talk to you, getting to know you as a good friend. My best new friend here right now is the guy on the screen. He has been a great friend and a great hustler. And let folks know we're looking for sponsors. Get in touch with Rob. And thank you so much, Jim, for being on. Looking forward to getting with you.
See you down here soon.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Take care, Jim.
All right.
See you, Rob. You too.
All right. Good to have Rob. Good to have Jim on and finally meet him. I've heard a lot about He's a legend among my family members, not the least of which is Tommy. So, all right. So, all right, big guy, we got Rob Browne coming up here in a minute. Tell folks about Prime Orthodontics, will you?
If you want to get ready for the smile of your dreams, come to Prime Orthodontics, where they make it happen. With braces, clear aligners tailored just for you. Their expert team combines cutting-edge technology with personalized care, all in a friendly, comfortable environment. Whether you're a teen, adult, or somewhere in between, your perfect smile starts here. Call Prime Orthodontics today or visit them online to book your complimentary consultation. They have 2 locations. Panama City at 3308 West Highway 390, and Panama City Beach at 10800 Panama City Beach Parkway, Unit 400. Call them at 850-785-6400. Prime Orthodontics, where confident smiles begin.
This is the Panhandle Gator Club show. We'd like to feature folks in the Panhandle. If you have a suggestion for a guest, please get in touch with us. You can go online here. You can also email us and tell us about it. We'd love to have more about learned a lot about Port St. Joe. There's so many places here that you want to know about and see. And you have a little nugget for us today. If you do, give it to us. We've got a guy coming on who's been down every part of this community. Literally, his family's been coming here for like 60 years, 70 years, and he knows the 38 like the back of his hand. So Rob will join us in just a moment. The schedule, just a couple of quick thoughts. Overall, easier schedule on paper, I think, than before. And getting Ole Miss the week after their revenge game against Lane Kiffin would be great. The biggest home game of the year will be Oklahoma. And that's going to be interesting. I hear they've gone down and measured to see if they can get Boomer and Sooner in. And we'll see. But so John Summerall's first 2 SEC games are at Auburn and versus Ole Miss against first-year coaches. So that could be an advantage for him. And we're liking the things we're hearing about his hires out of Gainesville as well. So your thoughts off the top of your head, Rob?
Yeah, listening to the unveil last night and looking over the schedule, for the first time in a long time, I think the SEC did about the best way they could to make all schedules about as even as possible. And Florida and Oklahoma can take a breather finally from their schedule. So I think they did a great job. I hear they use AI. I don't know how or whatever, but the schedule I like. It's almost every other week, home away through most of the schedule. I like it.
I want you to share just a couple of quick thoughts before we bring Rob on, the other Rob, Rob Browne. Talk about Margaritaville. For people who don't know about it, you fell in love with the place. You went over there and stayed a weekend. You're now officially home shopping in Margaritaville. I'm envious. You're going to get over there and get to have that great lifestyle for seniors and sell your beautiful home here in Lynn Haven. By the way, if folks are interested in his home, he's got a fabulous home. He did a whole bunch of great work to it. And if you're interested and think you can afford it, get in touch with Rob, because it's a great place. And who wouldn't want to live around where Rob lived? Rob?
Well, thanks, Freddie. It's my paradise, as I call it. And there's not a whole lot of houses here in the area that have a pool, a boat dock on a canal. I got an entertainment center and stuff that back summer kitchen that is, again, my paradise. But we decided to leave it. And yes, we are going to. It's Jimmy Buffett's Latitude Margaritaville Water Sound. Not to give, I guess, giving them a free plug and stuff. Maybe we can get them as a sponsor when I move out there. But we're going to move out there. It's a 55 plus retirement center, I guess you can call it. So not everybody's retired, but we're looking forward to it because I tore a bicep muscle doing some handiwork the other day, and I thought, dude, I don't need to be doing this anymore. It's time to sell my house, buy a new house, and let someone else do my yard work, and that way I can just hop in a golf cart and have fun, golf, fish, whatever, every day. So
just don't go too far from me because I need you. I had to have you call in an emergency. The other night you came over to save me, able to get my phone out of the crack of the sofa. Who do you call? Well, my good friend Rob showed up. By the way, Rob Browne is here. I'm excited to talk about what he brings as an international regional perspective in terms of his show, SEC Sidelines. Buster Faulkner, what a great hire that apparently is, as we're hearing. I know Rob knows about him. And Brad White. Let's bring in our buddy from SEC Sidelines, Rob Browne. Good morning to you, Rob.
Hey, guys. Love the shirt, Rob PANHANDLE. Hey, y'all got a call
for you this week.
I love it. That's a badass shirt. My good friend, love him like a brother, Michael Jordan, is living down on 38 at Blue Mountain. You got to get
not the Michael Jordan, not the Michael Jordan.
No,
okay? This one is you're big, but you ain't that big.
No, this one's a bond salesman. He's been selling for 33 years, financial guy. But MJ, his girlfriend is the chief 911 dispatcher in Panama City, Angie. So she's really
shout out. What's her name?
Angie Galuli. And Angie Galuli.
Shout out, Angie.
And she is truly a badass. And so Michael has got some of his grills down there. Y'all, I've got to hook y'all up. You want to do a cookout and have him cook ribs for the Gator Club, Memphis style, and brisket. His brisket is so good, the Virgin Mary herself would be proud to come down here and ask for seconds. It's that good. And I'm going to tell y'all what, the more y'all talk about Summerall, and I thought, Rob, wasn't it cool when Buddy asked that last question at his press conference? Nobody thought of a question like that. How you handled your career and your life after you got the news that you couldn't play football anymore. And where was he when he got the call from Kentucky to get into coaching? Down in Destin drinking a cold road soda with his feet in the Gulf. It doesn't get any better than that, eating some shrimp or some scallops or grouper. But I got to tell y'all, Florida and Auburn, September 19th. That is one of my favorite.
You and me, brother. You and me. Now we got to go mano a mano. A little something on the line here
We're going to have fun. But I think
first-year coaches.
I think both these coaches are going to have an immediate impact. Because I think John Summerall, when you watch him, John Hartwell is going to get him on with Buddy and us. They're very close friends. Roman Harper was on this morning with us on our morning show that we just did about an hour and a half ago. Roman said, I played in the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game with John. We've been friends since we were 18. And he said, I texted him yesterday about some stuff. John Summerall just is a fit, whether it was at Auburn or Florida. I just think he is what y'all need. He's what the Gators need, what college football needs more of. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the Gator fans, one thing they hadn't done, they didn't quit showing up to the stadium. Now you got a captain.
17 straight sellouts.
Yeah.
You believe that?
Yeah. I mean, it's unreal. 17. And the fact, it's been some rough football the last few years. But I'll say this, the Gator Nation, they don't back down, but they've backed that program. All you need is a couple of adjustments, the right screwdriver and a couple of nuts and bolts. By the way, as an engineer, I can't imagine what your outdoor entertainment center looks like. I'm sure it is to code and to perfection, but there's nothing better than being on the Florida Panhandle watching college football. And Buddy, my mom, 86 years has been going down to the Gulf Coast. I mean, Memphis people love the Panhandle, and so do Florida
They
people.
know more about it than I do. I live here, and I don't know much about it,
Yeah.
and I'm hearing these stories about this incredible places that people can go.
Well,
I mean, and I want you to give me one of your favorites today, because you and Rob gave us one of his couple of his restaurants in Port St. Joe. You're going to take me when you come down here. Hopefully you'll be down for the book signing or down here soon.
when are y'all doing the book signing?
18th
of December.
December 18th. Yes.
Wow, y'all!
Yeah,
I mean, I'm telling you, and that book is an awesome book. And Fran's prayers are with him losing his mother, man. And Carlton Reese was on last night. I wanted to compliment Carlton and Buddy because everything's electronic now. And by the way, my high school tried to go to an all laptop formula. They've gone back to the books. Nothing's better than a published book by Buddy, Carlton, Franz, that it's like an artist who actually, that you got the original. So I'm looking forward to reading that thing. And you know what? With Todd Golden there, it won't be the last book written on that. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah, next book is going to be about football, probably next fall by a game. John Summerall, boy, he's a baller, isn't he? Pretty exciting stuff for that guy. And I hope he's everything we hope he is. I don't want to get over my skis here.
Yeah.
Let's not give him the Hall of Fame just yet. He's been coached a couple of games. But everything about that guy I like. And you talk about the question I asked. No big deal, anybody. I understand that. But I've had a history of, I've covered every new coach at Florida since 1960. And a couple of them I've had a connection the first time I ever talked to them. Urban Meyer was one. And we had 100 people that day, and I asked a question. And when I stood up and talked to him, he and I connected right away. Years later, we talked about it. There was definitely a connection with the question, with the intent. Guy could see I'm legit. I'm not some guy looking for clicks, and then this guy Summerall, I didn't know what to expect, but I wanted him to show his whole card. Tell us a little bit about himself when times were really tough, and they were tough. He for those who don't know, he had spinal stenosis. He could not come back to play football in Kentucky. He was a leading tackler the year before, and he was so pumped about it, he just didn't know what to do. So he got his car and drove down to the Panhandle and went to the beach, as you said, and knocked out a bunch of cold ones.
Yeah.
He got a call the next day from his friend who was there and said, Coach Brooks wants you to come back as a GA. He said, not the condition I'm in right now. I can't. He
can't drive.
He can't drive. But the next day he was in his car, and the rest is history. So I'm really excited. Rob, real quick, while we're waiting, if you go ahead and tell folks about our sponsor, Rocket Lanes. I think Rob Browne probably been there, but if not, we'll take him. Rocket Lanes is our title sponsor.
I imagine he's a pinball wizard, so he probably love to go there. But come get social here at Rocket Lanes. Bring your family, enjoy a day of bowling, skating, or playing in their 16,000 square foot mega arcade. Come enjoy their bar while the kids are playing, but enjoy everything they have. And as Buddy can attest, you can get lost in a place that's so big. So Rocket Lanes is a host of the Panhandle Gator Club. So come join fellow Gators and watch our sports on one of their many TV screens in their bar. So come get social at Rocket Lanes, 513 North Richard Jackson Boulevard, Panama City Beach, in the shops of the Edgewater across from Edgewater Beach Resort.
There you go. Guys, one of the trends right now going on is that is the bowl games are in jeopardy. There's a lot of things changing about football I'm not too thrilled about because it's the nature of the beast. They're just going to change. If they start taking away the conference championships, look out. I'm coming after them because that just can't happen. SEC championship game is always going to mean something. But there is tumultuous change. So much change we can't keep up with it. And now the latest, we have a column up now about Eddie Gilly about whether the bowl games are doomed. Those of you know me know I've been for a playoff system for 30 years. I even wrote a plan when I was in New York about what they could do. I wanted college football to be more like the NFL. I'm not so sure that was the right thing to do, but nonetheless, they did get the playoff system. They tinkered around when they have 4 teams. Now they have 8, 12. It's going to keep going up. I don't know. There's some things that may have to go along the way with it. They'll be jettisoned. I really hate to think about college football with no bowls and now with the SEC championship games, I'm not saying they are, but possibly going away. A lot of good change, a lot of bad change. Are you worried about that, Rob Browne?
Yeah, I am, because I'm big, and our show and this channel is built on history, traditions, and heroes. I'm with you. I'm for straight seeding in the playoffs. Just throw them out there. No set asides, no conference quotas, nothing. Let them all fight it out. But if we start chipping away at everything that makes college different from the NFL and we become one, that's not what I want. There's a reason why kids go to college. And I promise you what's going to happen with NIL is the same thing that happens with any other business. If the ROI is not there, private equity people typically want, if into you, they want 15, 20% ROI pretty fast. I'm watching this $500 million private equity deal with the University of Utah. As my friend John Hartwell, former AD at Utah State and big part of our show, a CPA, said, what could possibly go wrong with a $500 million private equity deal at University of Utah?
Yeah.
Everything. Because if you know anything about private equity, they're going to get their hooks into you, and they're going to start demanding things. And they're going to tell you who your president is, who your coach is going to be, and who your starting quarterback is going to be. Oh, yeah, they'll do it. They ain't dumb. They'll do it. Watch out.
All right, Rob Browne won. Rob Panhandle. Rob, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with Rob. Once money gets involved and dictates what's going on, people expect something in return. Like just, whether you call it equity or whatever, the big dollar boosters have been that way for years. They just haven't had as much money or as much power. But you hear about these coaching searches. Well, who's involved? The big dollar boosters and stuff, one way or another. So we have to get a handle around it somehow to make it so we get back to what college football was, which was for the players and the fans.
Yeah. A lot of good. I mean, here's the thing: the enormous amount of eyeballs on TV now. Enormous amount of eyeballs on TV. And to be honest with you, the stadium experiences have not been that great. It's hard to get there. Hotel rooms are expensive. Concessions are ridiculous. Although I recently saw where a season ticket package of a smaller school includes all your concessions. Great idea. Now try to get them served. And there are many things about it that are concerned. I think they're working diligently. But let's be honest, these athletic directors who got things thrown at them, they've never been trained. They've all had to hire general managers. They've had to hire people like you, Rob Browne, who know finance to figure out how to run this big mega machine. And it's not easy. And they got to hire people. Coaches are being turned over. I mean, 15 coaches fired. Look at Michigan. What in the world are we going to do there? And they're coming after DeBoer. What if they hire DeBoer? It's a disaster for Alabama fans. So change is good. Too much change is not good, Rob Dotson.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, you look at Florida. You got to commend them for having all these 19 straight home sellouts when they could just sit at home and watch it on their phone, watch it on TV. No, Gator fans at least go to the game. Why? Because of the experience. I know Scott Strickland's updating the stadium, and part of what he talks about is the fan experience. We got to have some experience. So I guess people want more than just a football game when they go to football games. But as far as I'm concerned, give me a comfortable seat out of the rain, and I'm happy.
Well, yeah, you know what? It's not NIL for us, but most every dollar that I make is because of going to Auburn and the relationships I have from there, and sitting on the beach down on the Gulf Coast growing up.
Come on.
I promise you, that's where it comes from. And then when you go to the games, there's 90, 100,000 people in these stadiums. There's another 100,000 tailgating outside the game.
Oh, yeah.
People, what the virus taught us was what we already know. It says a lot about the duality of man, the subtleties and the nuances. And that is this: we're social animals. We don't like to be, you know what you do to punish somebody? You put them in solitary confinement. Put them in your man cave. It's real fun getting plastered by yourself staring at an 84-inch screen. No, it's not. We want to interact with other people. And I said this back in March of 2020 to some big-time national guys that were on our show. I said, I don't care what it takes, I will promise you, the most disciplined athletes in the world, college athletes, D1, 2, or 3, will find a way to get on the field, because being scared will never make you money, and it's not a way to live your life, and we'll find a way to make it work. And psychologically, people sitting at home locked up, it's the worst thing ever happened to people. And people love going to the games. When you go to Gainesville or Athens, Baton Rouge, Oxford, Auburn, Fayetteville, whatever, you're seeing your friends. When you step foot on that campus, you're 19 years old again. It's where you met your first serious girlfriend, probably. It's where a lot of things happen for the first time. It wasn't the first time I had a beer, I can assure you that. That was making my parents' drinks on the beach as a kid down on But I mean, I'm just saying I'd have to sip them. But I think the love of college football, buddy, it's because of you. You can never retire. Please don't ever retire. Tony Barnhart was on the show with us Wednesday morning. Tony, you talk about getting the band back together. When you've got Lauren Smith, Buddy Martin, Tony Barnhart, Kevin Skarbinski on this show, whether it's Scott Rabelais, Schleybaugh, whoever, the writers, you can't get better in the stories that they tell because they've written about them. They've committed it permanently to the lexicon. It's there forever. And I think the numbers on TV are blowing records out every day.
They are.
Rivalry. People still, we better never lose sight of why we love the game.
Yeah.
And it's like the people that watch this show,
Yeah.
Indian Pass Pirate and Stone Angel, all these guys. I mean, it matters to them. That means the world to us that they watch us.
Yeah, you make a great point. My former partner in radio, Gordon Smith in Ocala. Shout out to Gordon. Hope he gets better. He and I owned the stations in Ocala, WMOP and WGGG in Gainesville, and we brought sports talk to that area for a few years. He always had one say, he loved to go to tailgates. And he said, buddy, you don't understand. It's not the game, it's going to the game. And you're right. People show up there who've known each other for 30, 40 years, going to their seats they've had all this time. And they say, hey, Jimmy, how's your grandson doing? They know each other through just their connection. And you're absolutely right. The connections are really, really important. All right, in the final minute that we both have, let's talk about what's ahead in the playoffs. If you have any thoughts, I got to like Georgia. I just like what they're playing right now, but I know there's a lot of obstacles. Rob Dotson, give me your pick. Do you think you can win it all?
You know, it's a tough choice. I almost can flip a coin between Georgia and Ohio State, but I think I'd go with Georgia, although I think Ohio State has some momentum and reasoning that they want to get back to that. But I'm going to take Georgia.
All right, and they got the Ohio State's got some reason now to want to be. All right, so Rob Browne, tell me your scenario of who wins and how.
Well, I picked Georgia and Alabama to play for the SEC title back in the summer, and Georgia to win it. They did it. They're playing the best football in the country right now. Indiana and Ohio State, that was the two best teams in the Big Ten, but Georgia has faced a lot better teams throughout the 12-week season. I think they're better prepared. I think Kirby gets his third title in the last 5 years. But the top four coaches have one thing in common. Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, and certainly Curt Cignetti. Man, he'd be a great prison guard. But they're hard asses. They coach their teams tough, and their kids will play a full 60. And if you go to overtime, they'll give you everything they've got. Indiana maybe have 6 players that will play pro football. The rest of that team, they're like worker bees. They play, they do their job. And Curt Cignetti, as Dave Bartu said on our Monday show, what you've seen the last 4 years at JMU and his 2 years at Indiana, Curt Cignetti is the greatest 4-year run of any coach in my lifetime.
Yeah.
For Bartu to say that.
Urban Meyer says flatly it's the greatest coaching job he's ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'll also say Cignetti is a great example that it's not the number of stars you have on your team. It's not the number of 5 stars and 4 stars. Cignetti proved it's the coach and his players and how they come together.
Yeah, you work people really hard. And like if you try to write for Buddy and you send something in that's crap, he's going to tear your head off. But could it mean he cares? He loves you. He cares about you.
Right.
Brendan, some of the things he says to me during the show about what I'm doing, I know why. If you can't be coached, you're not going to ever be the best you can be. Kurt Signetti, I don't care. He's 64, 65. He's a young guy.
He is a
Hey,
young
man,
guy.
he's a young guy. Don't think he's even close to finishing.
No.
Not even. He ain't even
Got a pretty
thinking
good
about it.
quarterback, too, by the way, who's going to be the
Yeah.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Another Florida kid.
Yeah, I will say who I voted for, but nonetheless, I will say that guy looks like he's going to go up there and win that trophy. I can't think of anybody else who could beat him. Just let me say one little word here in the final minute. And what a good job Kirby's done. It's not easy to keep getting back and keep winning all the time. We know that. But, a lot of people made fun of his quarterback, Gunnar Stockton. It's, he's not the guy. He's not, whatever. This guy's a baller, man. I mean, he gets it done. He's tough. He takes it on his shoulders. He'll throw it. He'll run it. I think he was really sort of rudely treated. And I think he's a guy, he won't make it on the Heisman list this year, I don't believe, but I think in the future, one more year, he will be up there because I think Georgia just might win it all. And I think Gunnar Stockton is going to play a big game. And by the way, if I ever was a coach, I'd want to have a quarterback named Gunnar.
Oh, yeah. Gunnar Stockton is why we love college football. And remember, he's the leading all-time touchdown pass leader in Georgia high school history. As they say down south, that ain't nothing. That's something. And I tell you what, Diego Pavia, he's a great story.
Well, I love that kid. I'm sorry he's not going to win the Heisman, but I really love that kid.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to overcome. But Buddy, you have a Heisman vote. Tony has a Heisman vote. It's pretty cool talking to Heisman voters. And you know what? It's like when people used to vote, there was a reason there was a curtain. Nobody knew who you voted for and nobody cared. And who you vote for the Heisman, it's got to be your secret, I guess, to the grave.
Well, I'll confess to one thing. Many years ago, I started doing a poll of my friends voting in the Heisman. And I would be able to predict who was going to win it based on these people telling me who they were going to vote for. Since that time, the Heisman has shut that down. You're not allowed to tell who you voted for. Yeah. And I respect that. And I think that's great. It is the most coveted, most sacred college football award there is. By the way, shout out to my man, Jake Slaughter. Tonight's the night where he might have a chance to win the Remington, which is, of course, the best center in America. Another All-American for Jake, another SEC for Jake. What a young man. We gave him the Wayne C. McCall Award at the College Quarterback Club for character last week. I'm sure hoping he'll pull that one off. But even if he doesn't, talk about a guy who held it together and kept his team together. Jake Slaughter will forevermore be remembered for his loyalty.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, have a good one. Who you got on your program real quick coming up, Rob, in the future?
Monday morning, we'll have Coach Ellis Johnson, Coach Pete Cordelli, Dave Bartu, College Football Matrix. Man, and Dave has got some data and some early player identification stuff. He just signed on with the University of South Carolina. Other colleges are going to sign him up, but they're going to start picking on these kids, finding them in 7th and 8th grade, and use a chart. Hey, should you keep recruiting them or not? A lot of data. An engineer like Panhandle Rob, you're going to love this stuff.
All right, Rob Browne, I'll talk to you later. And take us out now, Rob Dotson, with a little more about our title sponsor and about what they mean to us. We do appreciate that very much as we take you out.
Well, thank you. We love Rocket Lanes, the host of the Panhandle Gator Club, where you can bowl, skate, and play in their 16,000 square foot arcade. While the kids play, adults can enjoy a cold beverage back at their sports bar. Rocket Lanes, again, host of the Panhandle Gator Club, where you can watch with fellow Gators, football games, basketball games, and other sports on one of their many TV screens. Come get social at Rocket Lanes, 513 North Richard Jackson Boulevard, Panama City Beach, in the shops of Edgewater, across from Edgewater Beach Resort. We may have lost Buddy. We thank everybody for joining us. I want to throw out one thing about the Panhandle. I always like this one little tidbit, but this year's USA Today 10 best New Year's Eve drops. We all know about the Times Square ball drop, but Panama City Beach is the number 8 on USA Today's New Year's Eve beach ball drop. Where at 8 o'clock, they drop an early ball for those who want to be early birds, and a second one at midnight. We thank you for joining the Panhandle Gator Club podcast with Buddy Martin and myself, Rob Dotson. Our hosts, also our guest today, Rob Browne.